Right. Uh, so this is way more of a proof of concept demo than I think anyone here usually does. Uh, it's really just to show like this will not ship the way it is when you see this thing. It's just to show some ideas about how we're kind of thinking about agentic mode and what it could do. And it could also totally fail because I was hacking on it like up until 10 minutes ago. But so I'm just going to drop this prompt in, let it go, and I can read the prompt while it goes because it's going to take a while. I'm asking it to make a view in the model showing use accounts by state. You can use SQL, then build a query on top of it. Now that for whatever reason it refused to use the topic it just built, so whatever. Let's ignore that. Then make another query, then make a SQL query, and make it all into a dashboard. So the AI is spitting out. Ignore that. That's just needed to leave that in. Uh, it so it did something. I'm not going to click on it because that'll mess up its whole flow here. But it made a topic there. Trust me that that just showed up. Um, and now, yeah, it's gonna make this like I don't know why it won't use that topic. Yeah, and maybe if I had another 15 more minutes, I would have figured that out. Now it's making another tab. It's making the count by country that I asked for. It's tab two. Now it's gonna make the SQL query. Hello, that's a very cool SQL query. Now it's gonna save everything as a dashboard, and now it's got a dashboard, and it tells me what it did, and it has the summary of what it did, and it's done. It left this blank query here because I haven't told it how to delete query tabs or about blank queries at all, but it did make me my three queries. And yeah, it's again really rough, really won't ship like this. I have to break it into those three parts, decide what's worth doing, but it's just like, it's interesting. There's stuff here.
Steven, is it using the API to do that? Like, how is it doing stuff?
How is it doing stuff? It well, like it's in the app, right? So it doesn't need an API. It's just like it it
But it's not
provides.
clicking buttons, is it?
No,
Like,
no,
how
no,
is it
no.
actually interacting with the application?
Well, it's part of the application, right? So the functionality the application uses to say make a new dashboard is just there in TypeScript. So you just go like, okay, like if basically you say like you give Claude a set of five tools, one of which is make a dashboard, and if Claude chooses make a dashboard, the application sees that it called that tool. We take that and we go, okay, you told me to make a dashboard named foo. I will call the various parts of the code in our app that can make a dashboard. And there it is, foo. So
Is the way we should think about those two, like, are those tools things that are accessible, like obviously to our AI in the app, but are those things like we could abstract and say these are tools now our MCP server has? So somebody could go plug that into Cursor and be like, I'm going to go construct this dashboard, and it's actually using our MCP server and hitting the same tools and creating the same stuff.
within theory,
With
it,
theory.
it might make more sense to, if you're building MCP, to use an AP, like to actually use an API and build
Okay.
the MCP around the API. But like it's all there. It's all just a matter of, okay, yeah.
Nice.
Which models is it using, Stephen?
It's still Sonnet 4. Nothing. I didn't cheat and switch it to Opus.
Got it.
Might have been a better demo. Might have
Could have
even
been.
gone better, but no.
Next week.
Actually, Sonnet 3.7 even still. So yeah, got to get.
Did he do
Steven?
another demo? Sorry.
Yeah, I'll do a tiny one.
Sorry, Jamie, can I ask a quick? Hopefully,
Yeah,
it's quick.
yeah. Yeah.
Steven, one of the questions we're getting is like, why something is happening, right? So we see a trend over time, and really the answer to that question is that they want to drill into category and brand and several other kind of just dimensional breakouts of it. I'm curious if like I should be thinking along like when I'm seeing these demos in the last couple of weeks from you, are is that kind of the way to be starting to think about this and adding it as a prompt to these, or is there going to be should we be thinking structurally about how to create that, right? Maybe more as like an overarching dashboard that then is summarized, because it seems like there's like lots of layers, and we're now Jamie's adding summaries to every little piece. So trying to think through a little bit of how we at least come to some of these problem sets for designing them.
I would not worry about this demo in terms of that.
Okay.
I would think of it as the demo the last couple of weeks, and some of the things we talked about, like in product forum on Wednesday, we talked about this idea of like the unshackled agentic blobby deep research, whatever you want to call it.
Mhm.
That will start to be able to answer those questions, but we still have to figure out how to release that and price that.
Okay.
But that is
That
the
would be
idea.
more of the mechanism for that.
Yeah, that it will go churn and follow up and be like, okay, what's that? Where'd that come from? If you ask an open-ended question.
Okay.
But that's
And-
not.
I think too, Stephen, to add on to that, it's like the stuff you demoed today is sort of some cool things that built, like basically what we've been doing for everybody behind the scenes is kind of changing the architecture of how Blobby works, because before it was very shackled, very like one-to-one. You ask it one question, it can do one thing. And Stephen and Gustav have kind of flipped that on its head to say, you can call our Omni tools as many times as you need to answer the questions or the things you're being asked to do. And the first use case of that is the more like open-ended analytical question set that you're referring to, Jonathan, which is like, why did this change? Well, to answer that, I have to go look at 5 or 6 different cuts of this data and come up with an answer. But the same architecture that is supporting that is also has some future things we can do that Stephen's showing today, which is like, well, we can also throw other tool sets at it. Like, oh, now it can also create a
Right.
dashboard. create a chart.
Exactly. Okay, so tooling sets now are becoming the agents that were quote unquote part of this workflow. Correct.
Basically just think of it as like RAI just has the ability to take more and chain together actions. And these are different. Query is an action that it can now chain together multiple queries. Creating queries and then putting a dashboard on top is a chain of actions that the AI now has the will at some point have the capability to do. So still all of this very in exploration, but it's all on top of this like architectural change that we made to support future things like this.
And so things like, hey, can I schedule this as an alert? Like actually the actions that we take with this from the outputs are part now. I mean, not the second, but the idea is that they become part of the landscape as well.
Yeah, those are more tools that our AI has at its disposal to decide if it wants to use that in its response. Go create an alert. That's
Very cool. Very cool. Thank you all.